Oh, ¿el audio?
Then they came for the journalists, but I did not speak out, because I was not a journalist. Then they came for the protesters. Then they came for the protesters, but I did not speak out, because I was not a protester.
Estaba buscando el audio que no sabía qué le había pasado, ¿eh? Legalísimo. Oh, ¿y esto? ¿Qué ya? Chicos, lo voy a quitar un segundito porque no sé si me dará un código. O no sé, si me da un código y lo pongo en directo me mamo, ¿no? Ok, iniciación.
Because I am not a street artist.
Segundito, chicos. Que también me cerró la sesión. Dios mío, ¿y qué fue? Salí de la casa unos segundos y se me mata vaina. Me da una vaina, ¿eh? Oh. Mira. Mira. Tú no quieres que nos matemos aquí como dos perros. Invente conmigo. No me creen esa sesión, ¿eh? Y no quiere que solo nos matemos como dos perros. Hay que decir, chicos, dos perros.
Believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents.
I'm Clint Hawking, CEO.
Clint has been a long time here at UbiSoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team, and then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec? Yeah, right, and I'm Che Guevara. You're done.
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Our London town, a modern metropolis, built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
El maldito final. Error a iniciar sesión. Después que tenga la sesión iniciada.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep track of my
Óyeme.
merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
Yo tenía la sesión iniciada, amón, todo bien, todo en orden. Y de que empezó ahí, sesión cerrada y ahora no pone esta sesión.
Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him, her, or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes. Idly. Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever.
No inicia sesión. Definitivamente no inicia sesión. What the hell, nigga?
He can even call his own
Óyeme.
cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing when you're not invited.
Bueno, amor, estoy feo para reclamar el cacharro juego
Who
ese.
needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody
¿Con
nail gun?
esto? Ese, ok.
Jesus Christ, what is that thing?
Coño, pues no me va a cambiar el maldito correo.
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
Criminals run streets, illegals threatening our families, the police commissioner himself assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me.
Ya todo el mundo quejándose por lo mismo.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
Pues Género.
Another hair on my chest.
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
Full dislike.
He does have a slight drinking problem, though. And he's passed out. We'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Wow, pero se pasaron en
It's
esa
almost
vuelta.
crass to call him a hitman. Some might even call him an artist. Here's the bastard responsible. Done and dusted.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero. So get out there, find the best recruits, and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
Plunging the player into a living,
No deja
city,
hacer login para reclamar. Qué vergüenza.
has always been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Mutt to tell us more.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level artist on Watch Dogs Legion at UbiSoft Toronto. Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job in video games because we do get the freedom to kind of like pick and choose what little details we want to depict, and we get ample opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to. I have the capacity to hide things and, you know, like small little Easter eggs. In AC Unity, there was a boat somewhere in the world that was covered in cats. And then it happened again in Watch Dogs 2. And there may or may not be something in London that is a boat filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London. So no matter where I dropped them in the city, they'd go, "Oh my God, this feels like Camden. This feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster." When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, builds these worlds with care. I love it.
Messi más. ¿Dónde?
And now some news
¿En Twitter o dónde fue que te diste cuenta de eso?
Few weeks, you'll be able to battle it out
Eso también está en sus redes sociales,
on iOS and Android devices.
Porque wow, man, wow. Todo el mundo dislike.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
Déjame buscar a ver. Ahí se pasan en los Twitch. Digo en Twitch, en Twitter.
And now, whether you need a Tom Clancy action fix on the go or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
Uy, ¿qué es esto? No me fijé realmente en esa parte, ¿no? Porque yo estaba viendo tirar la sesión inicial, todo bien. Y de repente me hicieron sesión y ahora no inicia.
Contact! Moonshane is down. Request air support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound. Danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
No, y quitaron hasta los comentarios de su propia página para que no se pueda comentar. Allá donde se reclama el juego. Bueno, le voy a dar un par de rato e intentaré después. Mientras veo unos cuantos Twitter ahí de cosas de UbiSoft. No, la del escritorio yo la tengo bien. Esa está bien, nítida. Ahí no tengo problema.
Speaking of Tom Clancy, it's been 5 years since Rainbow Six Siege first launched, and the community has never been stronger. In celebration of this milestone, UbiSoft Montreal has put together a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers that have helped Siege become the game it is today.
In December 2015, a small team released Rainbow Six Siege. A game built on a strong vision, creativity, competitiveness, and team play.
Pour le joueur, le 1er décembre, c'est un début, mais pour nous aussi. Il faut tout de suite s'engager et dire aux joueurs, ce jeu est installé, tu peux t'y installer aussi, et nous serons là.
That original vision was quickly adopted by our passionate community, propelling it to a whole new level.
This is such a special moment, and being at 1 year anniversary of Rainbow Six now, game being stronger than ever, and more players today than we had in the past, it means
exactamente igualito con esta 5 en Epic Games. Que llegaron tanta, pero tanta gente que petó la vaina.
On subject like matchmaking, connectivity, all those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of the player.
Through it all, we're always driven by you, our community, and together, we grow stronger.
There is no sequel plan, and we're here for the next 10 years, so expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time.
Look at this.
Tous les succès, c'est vraiment le résultat de autant de nous que de vous. Ce jeu, il est autant le vôtre qu'il est le nôtre, nous, l'équipe de développement.
Now 60 million players strong, we're just getting started. From the devs that build the game to the community that plays it, thank you.
If you haven't tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
A few days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter. Now, it's time to venture into the hyperscape.
¿Y este? Eso fue el que salió en estos días, la...
Wait, what was that? A hack in the hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions.
Pues el Watch Dogs, el Legacy, algo así.
Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions.
Mío.
So, here we are. 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything. They gave everyone a way out. The hyperscape. In the hyperscape, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone.
Ahí se fue el que salió. Hace como una semana, ¿no? Algo así.
If you get good at Crown Rush, it can change your life. But strange things have been happening lately. Rumors of people getting hurt. Users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret lies at the heart of Hyperscape. And we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future, to the hyperscape.
I'm JC, Creative Director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at UbiSoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started building it from scratch. Seeing it grow, adding ideas is really cool.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the Hyperscape.
The game takes place in 2054. It's in a future where humanity has grown a little darker. One of the companies there, they are launching what's called the Hyperscape, which is a virtual world and the internet of the future. It's the place where everything converges. Within the virtual world, there is a battle royale that takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia. Then we also introduce a lot of new things. You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, go into interiors where it's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players, so it's a risk-reward kind of deal. We introduce the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield.
Déjame ver si todavía si ya puedo iniciar sesión.
That are toys that you can fly to adapt your tactics. And finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension. So every few minutes there's going to be a vote and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo or stuff like that. So players, while this happens, really have to adapt to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me it's really exciting because right now as we speak we're launching the open beta and so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. And I really want to thank all the players, all the streamers and all the viewers who participated in tech test and who will participate in the open beta. Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Si ya te lo he dicho como 200 veces y no me molesta, pero te lo voy a decir 230 veces más. Van a regalar un juego, están dando información interesante en UbiSoft. En la mayoría de los que estamos acá es porque queremos el juego que van a regalar, que es Watch Dogs 2. ¿Me copias, Resti? Y no se puede iniciar sesión, me recago en toda esta vaina. Estoy dándole la oportunidad, o sea, dándole tiempo para ver si lo solucionan. Pero en Twitter, no recuerdo dónde fue. Ya están. El punto es que ya UbiSoft está informado sobre el error. Yo no puedo jugar ese juego, la beta no. Porque no está disponible en mi país. La beta. Con el drop de Twitch. Hyper.
The digital world of the Hyperscape gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Ana Maria Musca is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Ana Maria Musca. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on Hyperscape. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them. This was the first lineup of characters. This is our default base, but even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game.
Okay, Rezi.
We're very excited to see it in people's hands.
No se puede iniciar sesión de ninguna manera hasta ahora.
As we move into the next generation of gaming, Ubisoft has been working closely with console makers to take advantage of all the extraordinary capabilities these new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox. With Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing to create an absolutely immersive version of London like you've never seen before.
Somos conscientes de un problema que hace que algunos jugadores no pueden iniciar sesión en una cuenta de UbiSoft. Estamos trabajando para resolverlo. Gracias por su paciencia. Ojo chicos, esa es la cuenta oficial de UbiSoft.
I'm a huge fan of Assassin's
Y eso fue
Creed. I love the time I've spent exploring the world in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Hace casi media hora.
And I can't wait for you to see the gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Pero ¿y ese no es el nombre de Microsoft? Sí, no es el nombre.
We know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And now it's time for a deep dive into the world of Vikings.
My name is Julien Laferrière and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly
Para el que no sepa, no se puede iniciar sesión para reclamar el juego todavía. Pero ya Ubisoft está informado sobre el asunto.
It is a personal adventure, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain.
Yo mismo lo vi en su página de Twitch, de Twitter.
Female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure.
Eso pasó igual que con GTA V y Epic Games, ¿se acuerdan?
Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors. Shields! And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face
Yo voy a estar acá, chicos, informándole sobre desde que me deje iniciar sesión. De una vez le digo, así que no se mueva de ahí.
To win the battle. So we want to portray the full range.
Claro, si quieres saber cuándo se puede iniciar sesión.
Coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline.
Muy
Ground
bonito.
your ship and blow your horn to lead your
A mí siempre me ha gustado Assassin's Creed. Ojalá que este no sea una sesión.
Your crew will assist you in all your raids, fighting enemies, battering down doors, and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms.
Yo no sé qué ellos van a hacer, pero ellos van a tener que hacer algo. O capaz que se lo den a las personas que se llegaron a registrar por correo o no sé por dónde. Y es que nos llegan a solucionar el problema.
It will serve as a record of the allies you have made and a guide for future opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game. Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby
Ustedes llegaron a jugar el Odyssey,
including the bodies of fallen warriors. To face these attacks, you must find
no le di fin, pero yo lo llegué a jugar, muy bueno, hasta donde yo llegué.
Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with a Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance, or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks. Customize your fighting style as you see fit, and become a legendary Viking warrior.
¿En serio más? Voy a probar.
Combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including two shields.
Porque yo probé hace como 3 minutos. Vamos a probar otra vez. No me deja. Bueno, a mí no me deja.
All situations call for violence. In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds and slip past watchful eyes, an unseen hunter among the people.
So every few minutes there's...
From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment. Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement. The more you explore, the more
información, chicos, información.
But as you push deeper into
Oigan lo que dice, debido a la gran... Dame ponérselo acá, un segundito.
In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature
Miren chicos, eso es, miren lo que dice acá, ahí es donde se reclama. Oiga, dice mantenimiento. Y traduciendo esto, que se lo va a traducir ahora, dice, debido a la gran demanda, esta página no está disponible temporalmente. Vuelve más tarde para reclamar tu copia gratuita del juego.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths and England's pagan roots. It will challenge
la gran demanda, que hay mucha gente queriendo hacer lo mismo y petó la vaina esta.
thrilling triumphs,
todo.
and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking.
Pero en el launcher tú no puedes ver directo ni reclamar tampoco, ¿sí? Dame iniciar en el launcher, a ver. Assassin's Creed Valhalla o Valhalla, yo. Tu sesión se cerró por inactividad. Oye, ahora. Así me jodí.
9th century England is truly unlike anything the franchise has seen before. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5,
Exacto, eso es lo que hace, que me manda para la página.
PC, and Stadia.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
I hope you will have enjoyed
Yo quiero ver Far
what
Cry
you've seen
6.
today, and that you will love
Realmente.
playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for
Y
delivering
que me deje entrar, obvio,
ambitious,
para yo reclamar mi
bold,
jueguito.
and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have
Eso es
another
lo que yo
UbiSoft
quiero.
Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
Escucha. Tú lo hice por el niño, el joven. Y la marca es la hija. O el parentesco de la hija.
Fuerzas ultrapenetrantes, estamos cansados de los farsantes, de los...
¿Eh? ¿What? Chicos, yo leí.
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect.
Yo leí.
But useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple.
Míralo de la
It
hija.
has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe, Diego. Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place.
Oye, qué bonito se ve esta vaina.
That this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now.
Ahí.
I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong.
Ay. What do you mean?
They will answer you with screams, call you evil.
¿Que va a tirar la granada?
A monster. And give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? And are you a monster?
What do you mean?
Because our country is like this grenade, except it has two basic parts. Our people and you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
Ay. Ay. No. Diablo, 2021. El 18 de febrero del 2021. Patarguito.
And with that, we're wrapping up our first UbiSoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's Creed, the birth of a resistance in Watch Dogs Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another UbiSoft Forward filled with tons of game news and updates.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the UbiSoft Forward post show. My name is Yusuf Magid, and this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to take a deep dive into about 30 minutes of gameplay, and we're joined by a very special guest here.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So Fizz, we're setting up here for what looks like an epic encounter. Tell us exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, so here we're midway through the quest that we're showing for UB Forward. Here we're looking at the assault of Burg Castle. So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Eivor, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Burg Castle to go and take down Rued and his clan.
So who exactly is Rued, and why does Eivor sort of want to pick a fight with him?
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happens before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald, who's the sort of elderman to inherit this territory, needs your help to take him down. Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes to combat this time around?
We wanted to basically add a lot of new mechanics to it. So we added like some dual wielding for the player, like a stun system in there. And we really needed to do this to sort of portray that sort of the brutality that comes with being a Viking in this day and age. So it sort of fits into that the time and the character.
Oswald, he lives. Oswald lives!
Eivor, is that you? Shut your ass, twig spine.
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally it's revealed that our Elderman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
So this is what it comes to, Wolfkist? 2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson? If this swine is your prize, come and get him.
So now that we've seen that Oswald is alive, we have Rued within our sights. What's the next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies. They can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Your battle is not yet won, Oswald.
And it's worth pointing out, actually, that here what we're showing is the player going.
Ese movimiento así rápido está también en Odyssey.
Tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached this a little bit more stealthy and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf. And so you can play this a little bit more strategically if that's your playstyle.
So we're not only fighting Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
Here, one of my preferred strategies is to eliminate the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least one opponent out of the combat. Now, Rued will have extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf, but I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy in the whole.
También es a patada.
For all your efforts, only the cold dark of Niflheim awaits you.
Valhalla is my destiny. That fate will not be met today. Riders, they should be roomed, wolf-kissed. Made thralls, not treated as equals. We are better than this. Than all of them.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
Riders had Dane fight tooth and nail for a Saxon. You throw in with these wastrels, these arrogant swine?
Eivor, no! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
All right, so we've defeated Rued, we freed Oswald. What comes next?
Oswald, in this case, prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose: are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit because we just did this big grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be a strategy. You can do that, and you'll have some of the ingredients or of the assets there that will have been sabotaged, but you still need an army. So here what we're seeing is Eivor going around the countryside and raising what we call a fyrd, which is the men and the women of the territory who come up and fight in the name of a king. So here Eivor is going around and trying to convince people to fight in the name of Oswald to finally take down the oppressor that is Rued.
Defending East Anglia, defending you. Will you not do the same?
What? Die in defense of a lost cause?
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people in his name. She's going to recruit these people.
Pretty words, Dane. But the men of Theovard have their own battles to fight.
So we're told by this Reeve that there are troops, there are allies that he could add to our cause, but first we sort of need to do him a favor, is that right?
Yeah, so obviously these people have been run down by Rued and the impact he's had on the territory, so I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men and raiding a nearby township, basically taking it back for the people and showing that there's a reason to continue fighting, and then get them on your side. When Eivor does this, obviously you have access to a full suite of abilities. So again, the improvements that we've done to the fight system, you have some brutal axe throwing in there. You have archery or like range combat abilities in there as well. So really, again, like depending on what your playstyle is, you can customize your loadout and go in there how you wish.
Fizz, we just saw this giant pulse go out. What exactly was that?
So that is actually what we call the Odin sight. The Odin sight is basically our interpretation of the eagle vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When the player uses that, it'll highlight basically interactive objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we can touch, we just picked up this awesome new weapon.
It's something we wanted to play with on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we have fewer weapons in the game, but you can invest in them more, so they become your weapon. And so depending what your preferred playstyle is or your preferred weapon type, then you can go and choose, I'm gonna fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the player. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked. We have these spread out throughout the world. So again, to promote exploration and discovery, as you travel through the world and you explore locations, you can find these books that will add abilities that you can go is what we call the Odin sight. Put into your loadout, then go into the different locations or the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your playstyle is.
Now we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and figure out what we want to do with Rued.
The rightful king of East Anglia has spared your life today, and so it will.
Compassion is a virtue suited for anyone, Eivor, including you. Thank you.
Eivor decided to let him live. Rued is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla, so he was basically denied access to Valhalla in this situation. Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Rued's life, but what exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance. It's basically Eivor is surrounded by territories that initially getting into England are hostile towards her, and obviously if you want to set up a new settlement, you want to make sure that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Rued are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Rued and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
So, Fizz, we've completed the assault. We've gotten our hands dirty with some combat, taken down Rued. We have this big open region of East Anglia, so before we head off to Oswald's wedding, what do you say we head out, have some fun, and see what we can get into in the open world?
That sounds great.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm gonna talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our Some of my favorite moments actually in the game where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory, and it sort of rewards again exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her, so it permits us to explore that character a little bit more. And so here, basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casually. You're telling me I could have a cat Viking raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Perfect.
So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking Longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking Longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for Longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
Of an honorable man.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away from home. So we added stories and songs into the ship. So basically, as the player is going around, you could decide to have your skald sort of sing a song for you as you row down the river. But you can also decide, depending on who the raiders are in your ship, to hear more about their life, so you can actually queue up stories and they'll give you a little bit more background on who they are, so you get to know your sort of fighters as you're traveling around the world, which is a cool moment.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
So, you know, speaking of Viking songs, we have an activity here that's not exactly singing, but kind of related, right?
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and sort of poetry where insults would be thrown back and forth between each other. The idea was to try and have a good insult, but also to have a good rhythm and a good rhyme in there. So it's basically a precursor to rap battles.
Here's the silver. Now begin.
To all those whom I speak, they say Eivor's a clod.
Then you're speaking to fools and their knowledge is flawed.
Well...
How exactly do you go about being successful in one of these?
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
I'm known for my might.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise! Eivor of the Raven Clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity. So we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor a fishing line, so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to play into our new health loop, where the player will lose health in the world, and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past. So you actually have to go out and get some supplies. So you'll find mushrooms and some food that you can gather. But here, like you can also catch some fish and consume that to regain some health. We also will sometimes have it in certain quests. So it's a good way to sort of chill out on the side of the water and just again take it all in. So this is what we call one of our offering altars. So the idea is that you find these around the world and you make offerings to it. So it'll take like animal parts and stuff that you can find throughout the world. Here what you're seeing though is sort of like a fancy version of it, where as you do your offering you get interrupted by some kids that basically come and steal your stuff. So it's just a way for us to sort of showcase that like the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and some little events. So it's our way to sort of dress up these moments and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Yeah, this seemed like a really sort of unexpected turn for what I thought was going to be kind of a simple interaction.
Yeah, and it's really what we were trying to do with these events is to give another dimension to Eivor, other than just, you know, the pure rar Viking or the politician, because you can imagine at some point that will grow old if you're always telling that version of the character. So it lets us really go into the depth of who is Eivor, what motivates her, how she can interact with the world outside of warfare and politics.
But your stealth needs work.
We were close.
And it also showcases like a different facet of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor, so it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through tough times with whatever Rued's been doing to the territory, and so they're just here trying to survive and basically exploit the people that are there to make offerings.
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor wasn't really necessarily upset at them for stealing, and you know, after you talk to them, you have the choice of helping them. You can, you know, give them food, give them some money, or you know, maybe just say, "Hey, good luck, on your way."
Yeah, and this is something we also wanted to do a lot. Like, so here we're doing an event, we do it in quests as well, but we want to give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit. Who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can role play that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these moments.
This is what large walkers should do: provide for small walkers.
Here, large walker.
A necklace?
Yes, it's a St. Martin seal. You're welcome here anytime, large walker. You're one of us now. Visit us, okay?
I will. Take care now, small green walkers.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but what exactly is Eivor chasing down?
Yeah, so here you're seeing Eivor running down one of our tattoo images. So this is challenging the player.
Le bloquearon la cuenta temporalmente a alguien para iniciar mucha sesión en Uplay.
So are we going to be able to
Pero
tattoo
temporal.
Eivor?
Yes, by collecting these tattoos, you actually bring them back to your settlement, and then you can customize different body parts, having different tattoos everywhere. So again, another form of expression, and it's sort of to represent that Viking culture.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred, but I knew that because there was a chest in there must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back and, you know, found a way in.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that. You're pointing at something that we wanted to work on a lot on Valhalla, where we wanted the exploration to make you feel smarter. So we played a lot with puzzle solving, so making sure that every house that you find sort of appeals to you, like it draws your attention, and then when you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for it a little bit, so it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
A poor victim of someone's fury.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things out in the world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has more magical abilities, if we will, and basically have this awesome boss fight in the middle of the swamps. And so here the abilities that you see Regan using are a little bit on the mystical side of things. What's happening is Eivor at the beginning in that trap is poisoned, and so she starts sort of hallucinating, seeing the world in a sort of different light and filter. And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
My rage, spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
Pero no sé, yo en Warhap, digo Warhap porque es el que más han presentado, que he podido apreciar un poquito, pero no noto como así, como Warhap, esta es la siguiente generación de juegos. Aunque creo que la están jugando en una Xbox.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyria.
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much. But it creates like a sort of creative story that is not on the main path in any way, but it's still very rich and adds to the lore of this world and actually plays into history.
So we just had a really exciting, really intense boss battle. I think it's time for something a little bit more relaxing and calming now.
Yeah, it's all about pacing yourself with the highs and the lows. So here we have a low chill moment of what we call building a cairn. So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on top of one another using physics. And I mean, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks. But really, it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and just building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns.
These?
Yes. Think of this as a test of mind and wit. Stack the cairn stones high and wide into any shape you like.
I mean, you can spend as much time as you want building these things, making them as high as you want, as weird as you want. I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there. And so that's yours, right? And until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one. It's sort of cool that we were able to give that to players to express themselves.
At this point in the demo, we've explored East Anglia, we've met some children, we've broken into a house, we fought a boss, we built a cairn. I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady. mighty. And so as you go through the arc, that's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony, and then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
All the battles a man can fight. The war.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or a warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party, it's a Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show what a sort of Viking gathering is. And what's cool here is it's a good alliance of Norse culture with Saxon culture, sort of smashing those two things together. And building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Yes. Yeah, so like, anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here you just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all.
My king, he...
So here we see the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
We have been shorn.
Yep, that's the decision you made coming back. So as we said before, all your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
I challenge you. I accept.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Irish swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Rued differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him. And so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious, way faster. There's less strategy. He goes literally swords blazing at you. And so this is a fight to the death. And of course here, like, this is a decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could have let Oswald fight his own fight and prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory and to be a good ally for you.
Anglia a great service. I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring them along for adventures.
Together.
Together.
I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Eric Pope. I'm the Senior Community Developer on Hyperscape.
And I'm Graham Jennings. I'm the Senior Producer on Hyperscape. Hyperscape's now in its open beta phase, so you can go to Uplay and download it directly.
So a little while back, we recorded a match for you so we could walk through it moment to moment, explain what's going on throughout a match of Hyperscape. There's a lot going on with hacks, guns, the gameplay. So Graham and I are going to walk you through it right now, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
So to start now, you'll see the insertion phase. There's the three of them in the squad, so they're trying to decide on where they want to go. It looks like Helios, which is one of the landmarks, is going to be one of the choices.
So all the places we're seeing on the map right now with like a name above it, that tends to be a higher loot area, would you say?
For one of the big yellow letter ones like this one, this is one of the landmarks. Landmarks tend to have higher density and higher quality loot overall.
Which also means most people will be going there, so you might
usually have a few more friends if you go to a landmark. So in this case, though, he's gone outside and he's found a supply crate. So you stand to loot these instead. So he's looking for both hacks and weapons.
Right, so the looting phase, many folks will be familiar with, but in Hyperscape, you do have those supply crates that you may be lucky enough to find. And what's the deal with supply crates?
So supply crates are placed around the world, so you'll hear them and then you can go and find them, and then inside them you'll find weapons and hacks. Usually you find slightly better weapons and hacks within them. Here now we've switched, so we're looking at Chimera instead. So he's in the landmark, he's in Helios now, and he's still in the looting phase. But as you can see from the red triangle up there, there's actually some friends or not friends in there with him just now.
Yeah, so the action gets started, okay, right here.
Yeah, so he's one-on-one. He's going with the Mammoth shotgun against someone who's using the heal hack at the minute, which is the red circle you can see. So that player's taking extra health at that point.
Which looks like it helped him hold his ground against that mammoth.
And I believe it helped him survive at that point. There seems to be a few other players in here just now. So the combat started and elimination's got his first kill.
Sectors will soon be collapsed.
Oh no, so he's just been eliminated actually.
Yeah.
So he just, he's been eliminated and he's turned into an echo now. So he's going to wait for his friends to bring him back. So he's going to go to one of these restore points, which are basically places where someone else from another squad's been eliminated, and you can be restored and brought back to life at one of those points.
So the action pretty much never stops in the game. If you're eliminated, you're not out.
You're not stuck watching a camera with someone else. You're still playing, you can inform your squad as to what's going on, and then you can call to be restored at one of those points. There's plenty of people, like you said, who ended up at Helios. There's at least 3 other squads.
So we can also see when you have a teammate who needs a revive, it's called out on your...
Yeah, the green icon you can see at the side is him calling for a revive at this point. So Mr. Gomi's busy eliminating other players, which will cause more revive points to appear as well. This guy's low on health, so I don't think he's going to last long.
Okay, so I see once someone's eliminated, they drop a revive point that you can use.
What you'll actually see at the minute now is both Chimera and Elimination are both echoes, so it's just Mr. Gomi by himself at present time. So can he survive this and get through? He's going again. There's still a few other players in here, that's for sure. So that was the slam hack he used there. So basically he projected himself up in the air, he landed, he dealt some damage, and he's managed to eliminate the other player.
Yeah, he got the elimination with it, which is pretty good.
And then he's starting to bring back Chimera at this point, so he's now back into the game.
Right.
So he's got to reloot and find new weapons again, because when you are eliminated, you go back to just your melee weapon.
I haven't forgotten you yet.
Okay, so you don't hold on to your gear when you get eliminated.
No. So this is the start of the decay you can see. So you see all these blue triangles that are appearing. This is how we basically do, map size reduction and zone reduction to bring players towards a smaller map into the center. So instead of having a circle that shrinks, we've decided to actually dissolve the map.
And is it kind of the same? Will you always know which districts are decaying first?
You can see from the map when you bring it up what's going, and you'll also see the icon when he turns on the left-hand side of the screen a second ago, which shows you where the safe area to go is. So at the top it will show you sector is closing, and then you've got the little icon of the person running with a distance against it. That tells you where to go to the next safe place.
So I see Mr. Dummy has pinged that spot to sort of regroup outside of the landmark.
They're going to take some height as well to start to be able to look for other players and to keep themselves a little bit safe. So he's seen another player, so he's starting to throw salvos at him, and probably the skybreaker too. You see the red exclamation mark? That's basically his teammates pinging and saying, hey, there's an enemy over here. And he's been shot out from behind, so there's definitely players around. You'll see him going to go high again to try and take some positional advantage to get up, because he knows there's another team on the roof up there. He doesn't want to be below them, especially not with his salvo grenade launcher.
Well, what I'm noticing is that they're doing a good job of switching from street level to the rooftops. Is that kind of a good way to approach a game of Hyperscape, to not just stay in one area?
You should really use the variety between streets, interiors, and rooftops for navigation and to keep yourself safe. Rooftops are great to see what's going on, but you're also then a target.
Bosque, pero si tú no pudiste jugar Valorant, este se ve muchísimo mejor gráficamente. O sea, que tiene como mucha carga gráfica, se le nota a este, se le nota.
Top tier skybreaker. So basically, you can have a level 5 skybreaker, which is what he just picked up. We will fusion weapons together. So if you have a skybreaker and you find another skybreaker, it will go to level 2. Find another one, it will go to level 3. And what he has now, as you can see in the bottom bar there with the yellow, he has the top tier of the skybreaker, so this does more damage. So each time you fusion something, a weapon or a hack, it will go up in various different abilities.
So you're basically, just to loot up, to fuse up, you just need to find a duplicate of your weapon or hack, and that's all.
Yeah. So you'll see though on the left, when you see the other players' names, you can see that Mr. Gomi has 2 yellow weapons and a yellow hack. So he has 2 fully fused weapons and 1 fully fused hack.
Warning. And how does healing work in this game?
So healing will either work by I took damage and then I retreated and your health bar will come back up, or if a player has a heal hack, which he actually does at present time, so you'll see that in the bottom it says heal, he can throw that on the ground and then there'll be an AoE of heal, so both you and your teammates can come into it and it will heal you.
Level up. And enemies cannot heal up in that same AoE?
They can't heal up in your AoE, but they could also use the heal hack themselves if they wish.
Cool.
So you see them now, they're starting to hunt again. I guess I've heard some other players because you can see them starting to move around, and there's a sense that they're not alone at this point. And there's a ping for an enemy, so yeah, the combat started again. So this guy finds himself in the middle of a bunch of the 3 players, so he's not in the best spot just now. And yeah, that's the end of it. So if you manage to fusion one of his hacks then again. So here you'll see the decay started.
¿Tú llegaste a registrarte?
You had no cover left, so you find yourself out in the open, and they eliminated him with a ripper at that point. And another one down for elimination. He seems to be on a roll at this point.
And now he's fully fused his sniper rifle, the Protocol V.
Still quick check, just make sure there's no one else coming in. You don't want to have someone behind you at the last minute.
5 squads.
So there's still 5 teams left. And we'll swap back to Mr. Gomi, who's still rolling with the skybreaker at this point.
It's worked out well for him.
Yeah. The case starting to happen in this region too, so we're starting to move forward a little bit.
¿Llegaste a registrarte, bro?
They have a nice variety of weapons between them. You know, there's someone's got salvo, there's a skybreaker.
Pero en conclusión, si llegaste a registrarte, no podrás reclamarlo hasta que ellos habiliten la opción de reiniciar sesión.
And he has, and that's the end.
Y si no llegaste a registrarte, pues ahí no sé qué pasaría porque lo veo muy imposible.
You mentioned that username. You'll notice if you've been watching the feed, the usernames all seem pretty similar in this match. What's the story with that?
So this is the feature we call streamer protection. So it allows you to anonymize who's in the game. So this is basically what you can see now. This poor player has managed to find themselves in the corner and tried to hide. Unfortunately, they've been chased in there by someone with a fully fused salvo, so that was kind of the end for them.
Dangerous.
So they've swapped now and they've gone to the mammoth instead. So they've swapped out to the shotgun. So it's quick to change your playstyle. You can easily find another weapon you like, and you can adjust based on map size, how many players are left. You can continuously adjust.
And that countdown that just finished was a health kit event. What does that mean? What are these events that
So basically in the top right now, you'll see the cross and it's kind of ticking down. So this is said that this is the time left for the health kit event. Basically every match, there will be cards played which change what happens in the match. So this was the health kit event. There's things like low gravity 2, which projects up in the air and you can jump forward.
And are these just random, or are players triggering these events somehow?
So there's two different ways this happens. So there's a game master, Grace, who plays them in this case. Or if there's a streamer in the game, the streamer's viewers will get the chance to vote for which one they want to see. So it'll pop up, there'll be 3 different options, and then whichever gets the highest number of votes will be the one that's played in the game. So viewers are directly impacting the streamers.
That's through the Crowncast extension.
Through the Crowncast Twitch extension.
There's only 3 squads left, contender. A sector has contenders.
So here you see that we got caught in the decay then and fell through the building, so trying to move back in. There's only 3 teams left now, so they're starting to get towards a smaller map size, so it's going to become chaotic shortly. And they're just on the edge of this landmark. Red Tiger, so they're heading up. Here you'll see at the top it says crown appears in 10 seconds. So basically we have a crown that spawns in the wall. If a player grabs the crown and manages to hold onto it for 45 seconds, they will win that game through what we call crown victory. The only downside to that is once you've picked up the crown, everyone can see where you are and everyone's going to chip you.
The crown has been taken.
So yeah, he's got the crown, the countdown is on. As soon as, if he were to get eliminated, it would drop and that countdown would go away, right?
Yes, and then whoever picks it up next, that person, the countdown will start again for them.
And that's only one of the 2 ways you can win a match of Hyperscape, right?
Yeah, you can win via the crown if you want to take it and maneuver. This is why you'll see the really high up to own the higher space, or you can eliminate all the other teams.
You could sneak around and grab that crown and survive.
15 seconds left to stop the crown wearer.
If you use your hacks well and you use your movement and hide a lot, then yeah, you could possibly grab the crown, get to the end, and then win via a crown victory.
Wow. There it is. A screen I'll never see. All right, well, that was just one match of the frenetic, fast-paced game, Hyperscape, that we are both very lucky to work on. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching UbiForward in this post-show. As we mentioned before, the game's available right now in open beta on PC. Just go to Uplay to download it. And we're also thrilled to be taking part in a Twitch Rivals event with the information appearing magically on the screen below us. So, Graham, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric. Have a good day.
And we'll see you in the Hyperscape.